Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to play Milotic EX. First I'm going to go over the deck list, then there's going to be a couple games, and at the end I'll talk about if I think this deck is good in the meta and other ways that the deck could be played. And as always, timestamps and the deck list are in the description. Thank you. Now Milotic is a stage 1 water type Pokemon with 270 hit points, and it has an ability that says prevent all damage and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Terra Pokemon. And it has an attack for water double colorless that does 160, and your opponent's active is now asleep. Sleep is one of the better special conditions. If your opponent stays asleep, they can't attack and they can't retreat, so it can be pretty powerful. This ability is obviously great. A lot of the Pokemon that are good in the meta right now are Terra Pokemon, so it definitely comes in handy. And the HP is kind of perfect because it cannot be knocked out by 2 Dusknoir uses. It'll still have 10 HP remaining after that, so that is very nice. The biggest downside is it evolves from a Pokemon that has 30 hit points. All the Feebases are really weak, but the Feebas that you have to use has the Ascension attack that just lets us grab a Milotic out of our deck and evolve it. So we want to use that attack against any Dusknoir deck or any attack that can spread damage counters in any way. This list is pretty heavily inspired by Caterpie's list from I think it was Gdansk Regional. We have the Mimikyus and the Cornerstone Ogerpons. We can attack with any one of these Pokemon. I also added the Water Ogerpon to have the option to retreat lock, because its first attack sob does 20 damage and our opponent can't retreat, but we put a double turbo, then it does 0, and we can lock a Pokemon in the active forever. But we can also use its second attack. We can use Crispin to accelerate a water energy, attach a double turbo, and knock out 2 Pokemon at once, because it does 100 to the active and 120 to the bench. Now we have Cornerstone Ogerpon. This is great, can't be damaged by Pokemon with abilities, and Mimikyu of course can't be hit by EXs or Vs. And we also have a couple missed energies in here to get around any damage counter placing, because damage counters can get around Mimikyu and Ogerpon's ability. It can't get around Milotic's, but yeah, other than that, the deck's pretty straightforward. We have a few Penny and a couple Pal Pads, so we can either clear off our bench or heal damaged Pokemon. We have Crispin to accelerate energy. It says grab 2 different types of energy from your deck, put one in your hand and attach the other to one of your Pokemon. Rigid Band to give Milotic a little extra HP kinda. It makes stage 1 Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. And we have Lost City to get rid of any threats that we need, and Rotom for draw. Thank you so much to everyone that has subbed, commented, and watched the videos for helping us reach 1,000 subs. And yeah, the channel's finally monetized now, which is pretty awesome. I haven't figured out exactly how to control where the ads go, so just let me know if there's too many ads or anything like that in the comment section. And thank you all again. I'm trying to figure out a cool special video to do for 1,000 subs, so if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. That is the list. Let's get into the games. Alright, so this game we are up against a pretty interesting Lost Box build, but of course I don't know that at the time. I just see a Pheasantipity in the active, so I'm not sure what to put down. If I knew it was Lost Box, I would definitely throw the Ogerpon down for right now, but since I don't know, I just grabbed Mimikyu. It's generally the safest way to go, and use Instant Charge. Now, this does end up being just a very strange game and a very interesting list, which, I don't know, I just thought it was a cool game, and there's been a lot of cool games on the ladder. It's really cool to see. It seems like a lot of people are having a lot of fun with the new set. They're really experimenting with a lot of stuff and enjoying the new cards, where normally when a new set comes out, I just run into the newest meta decks, or the old meta decks are just the best deck updated. But lately I've been hitting decks that just seem like people are having fun. And I think that could potentially have a lot to do with the way the ranked ladder has been working, where you don't lose points. Now, I kind of have mixed feelings about that. I do like it for the reasons I just said, and it is a little more freeing. I feel like I can play whatever I want and just have fun, and it doesn't matter. But the downside is it's not a real, ranked experience. It's just who plays the most games, basically. If you play enough, you're gonna get to Arceus no matter what, so that part is a bit of a downside. So I do have mixed feelings about it. I boss up the Fez since, I had nothing better to do. I have a Pal Pad in hand. might as well just try to make it a little bit trickier on them. They do have a Colress, and they get rid of Rescue Board and Blood Moon, so their hand must be kind of insane, or they're just thinking, you know, Blood Moon can't hit into Mimikyu or Ogerpon, which it cannot, but I also have Milotic, which the Blood Moon would be a pretty solid answer to if I end up putting that in play. And spoiler alert, I am going to end up putting that in play at some point, because this is quite a different kind of Lost Box list. But I expect them to knock me out this turn, and they do, so I'll probably end up foresting for either Colress or just for double turbo. I'll probably just grab the double turbo because I don't mind keeping the Colress in deck to be able to have the option to draw it later to get a mist or a double turbo or something like that. So I'll leave that in there, just grab the double turbo, attach, and I could counter catcher up their only Comfy, I think is what I'm going to end up doing. That makes sense. You know, they have 14 card hands, so their hand's probably not dead, but this Cramorant can't hit into me anyway. And the only real threats are, I guess, Comfy just finding him more cards. And I do end up hitting the Lost City off the prizes. That's perfect. In this matchup, we want to Lost Zone the Sableye. Ends up being usually the biggest threat against everything in these attacking wall stall kind of decks. And now you can see this is a Pikachu Terrapagos kind of Terra Lost Box build, which is really cool. The Terrapagos in there is smart. I'm pretty sure they can use the second attack for the energy that ends up getting played in the Pikachu Lost Zone deck anyway, because I think it's Water, Lightning, Grass for the second attack on Terrapagos, so that's pretty cool. They do burn 2 Mirage Gates. This, to me, doesn't make the most amount of sense. I don't think that they should have powered up the Pikachu. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but my cat just walked into my room and demanded food. So I had to stop for a second and get him to stop meowing really loud. But I do think they should have just maybe used a Mirage Gate to maybe attach 1 to Iron Hands and then 1 to the Terrapagos, and attach the other energy to Terrapagos from hand. I don't know. I don't think powering up the Pikachu makes much sense in this situation. But I do end up pennying into a Milotic so I can get the double turbo back, and now I can Ascension, or pennying up the Ogerpon so I can Ascension into Milotic with the double turbo, and then next turn I can Vessel away probably one of the Ogerpons or my top deck for the water and start attacking with it. So now all that they can hit me with is the Iron Hands and the Cram, and the reason I feel comfortable putting this in play right now is because they already have a Lightning on the Pikachu, so it just would be so many resources for them to switch, retreat, and then have attach and Mirage Gate, all to just knock me out with the Iron Hands. And then if they did that, I would just try to retreat into a Mimikyu, which they can't do that, which kind of what I expected. Like I said, that it would be a lot for them to have to do. They do have a huge hand, so I feel like fairly confident that they probably had access to the play, but I think it would have burned too many of their resources. But either way, at this point, I'm kind of expecting to lose this game because I don't really have an answer to everything. Like, individually, I have answers to all this stuff, but overall, like, my only hope really is to Lost Zone the Cram and then try to get a Mimikyu in play with a Mist Energy on it. And then I think that they'd really have no answers for that. They're down almost all their Mirage Gate. And I do think I have pretty good odds of winning this game with the Mimikyu Mist Energy plan, like I was saying, but they do end up just going to Mirage Gate for energy to knock out my Milotic and conceding. So I don't know, I thought this game was kind of funny and a little interesting, but we do end up winning it, and I think I would have eventually won it even if they had knocked out my Milotic that turn. I would have promoted the Ogerpon and pennied up the Rotom and benched a Mimikyu, and then hopefully gotten into a penny next turn to get to like a lone Mimikyu board state, and then I could bring up the Greninja and knock it out or something like that. This game we are up against a Dragapult deck, and I start Mimikyu, which is the ideal starter in any deck like this, and Dragapult does have answers for it in the I think the Dracloak hits for 70 for Fire Psychic, but they do end up starting the Tatsugiri, which is kind of cool because that's also a Ogerpon target later in the game. I'm pretty sure I was playing the Water Ogerpon at this point, but the Dragapult matchup is kind of weird because we do have multiple answers for it in the Mimikyu, the Mist Energy, and the Milotic. The whole hard part is just getting into the Milotic. Like, I can't just bench it and hope that they don't attack unless I had like a Mist Energy. Well, I can actually do it, but only because I have the Hero's Cape in my hand, and I kind of have to hope that they're unable to either boss or iron bundle, so definitely gonna just hope for that. I attached a Bravery Charm to the Mimikyu, got nowhere better to put it, and attached the double turbo to the Milotic and the Hero's Cape and pass. The Rigid Band really is there for the Milotic, but in this position I needed to cape the Feebas just in case they were able to candy Dragapult in retreat and knock out my my guy. They do get a Duskull down. Now, like I said in the intro, I believe one of the best parts about Milotic is it's kind of Dusknoir proof. You need to use 3 Dusknoir to be able to knock it out. So that is pretty great. It's going to be hard for them to do that. I would be kind of surprised if they played enough resources to use it 3 times. They might, but I don't think Dragapult decks typically do. And I also pop in for double Mimikyu. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that decision now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I could, yeah, because now they have 2 targets on the bench to be able to hit with ping damage and take prizes, but I do not expect them to ever be able to get through the Milotic, so I guess I wasn't really worried about it at the time, but watching it back, I don't think I should have done that. The only viable reason I can think of that I did that would be to thin my deck to hope to hit a like a draw card off of the top deck or something like that. I also need to get into an energy to retreat. I do top deck a Mist Energy, but I kind of want to get the water onto my Milotic, and then next turn I could Mist, and I don't know, it kind of sucks because I'm going to have to retreat the Mist off anyway unless I top deck a Penny. I could have Ultra Balled for Rotom. I probably should have done that now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I definitely should have Ultra Balled for Rotom unless it was prized and I didn't notice on the deck search there. But we do end up getting Iono, that's kind of nice. And I have a Forest in hand, so can't use that since Rotom's not in play. And now they're getting ready to knock out both my Mimikyu in 1 turn. But I am able to retreat. I retreat off the fighting because I'm not going to be attacking with the Cornerstone Ogerpon at all during this game, so Psychic is a far more useful energy. And I retreat and attack. Now we have a huge Milotic in the active that can't be damaged by their guy. We are in a pretty good spot, I think. They do wake up from sleep, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to maybe like buy a turn with the sleep flips, but they do end up getting heads on it. Sorry, I'm like losing my voice right now. They do knock out both of my Mimikyus, but I am able to reset the damage on the other one and just start attacking. I do make a mistake here. I should have Ultra Balled away Artazon and the Rigid Band, because they do have the potential to attack me with Alakazam, and if they hit me for enough damage with Alakazam, that would allow them to eventually knock me out with Dusknoir. Now, they do end up just popping the Dusknoir right away, which is kind of it makes sense now because they wanted to bench another Duskull. So now their plan is to hit into me with 2 Dusknoirs and then finish me off with the Alakazam, but unfortunately for them, I do have 2 Ultra Balls in my hand. And they Crispin and only have 1 energy in their deck. That is one of the most unfortunate parts about Crispin, is you need 2 different types of energy in deck to be able to accelerate the energy. And I did prize Rotom. I kind of had a feeling that I did, but couldn't remember. So I could grab it to have access to the forest. I do end up doing that. And now I'm just going to basically Ultra Ball as many cards out of my hand as I can. I really hope I don't discard the other Ultra Ball. Well, that was special. I guess I can play down the rest of my hand basically to 0, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I definitely should not have done that. Oh, I can grab... No, I messed this all up. Holy crap. Watching this back, this is embarrassing. I could have gotten Lost City and then Lost City the Alakazam and not ever had to worry about it. So that is a massive mistake and oversight. I mean, I was planning to play my hand down to 0, so that does make it so that they can't hit into me for anything with the Alakazam, but I could have probably won the game on the spot with Lost City. So yeah, I didn't even realize that at the time. Wow, that was pretty stupid. And that's what I get for missequencing. I should have used the Forest Seal Stone if I was going to use it before I played the Artazon down. Instead, I played my cards in the wrong order and got punished for it, because as I was looking through my deck, I don't remember if I saw it the first time, but the second time I sure did. And that is why sequencing is a very important thing to learn, because it helps you fix mistakes that you didn't even know that you were about to make. And this time I made the mistake. But so they just leave a Dreepy in the active, and I have kind of an interesting choice here. I have more cards in deck than them, and they're down quite a few energy. And yeah, they like can't attack me. They could hit me for 20. If they promote the Alakazam, I'm gonna knock it out. And they just attach their last energy they have, or not their last energy, but probably the last one they have access to, because I can kind of guess that they prized it, or they prized the 3rd Psychic, since they did not grab it off of the Crispin earlier. So I'm just going to pass again. I could draw with Rotom and try and get into boss, but I don't want to give them a chance to be able to hit into me for more with their Alakazam, so I just choose to pass. I top deck another water energy. Now I could attach the water or the double turbo. I hope the water is the one I choose to attach. There's a chance I don't though, because for some reason I might be worried about having to set up another Milotic, but I do attach it to the active. That makes sense. The reason I want the double turbo is just in case they like try to trap something with a gemstone. I don't know. That wouldn't matter anyway, because I'm going to win that war. So I guess it's kind of irrelevant. Now they start healing my Milotic. I also find that very interesting. I'm not too sure what my opponent's doing here. If I had to guess, they're trying to knock out the Mimikyu and hope to grab their last energy off of their prize cards. It looks like, yeah, I don't think they had any energy in the discard. So yeah, I think they're trying to knock out the Mimikyu, get their energy so that they can retreat and start hitting into me with Alakazam or their Dracloak. But little do they know, I have Penny in hand, so I can like either Penny this turn or probably next turn is when I should Penny, because even if they vacuum or jamming tower, it won't knock out my Mimikyu. So yeah, I do end up doing that. I just pass, and they're continuing with their plan. At this point, I'm pretty confident they have no way to retreat, and after I penny this Mimikyu, I don't think that they will have any win condition. I do re-bench the Mimikyu, I guess just to get cards out of my hand. I don't know. I probably should have just Ultra Balled it away. Not too sure why I did that. Wow, I gotta stop playing the games for these videos in the middle of the night. I keep playing all the, well, for the past few videos I've played the games at like 1 or 2 in the morning, which at that point I'm pretty tired, so I've not been playing the best. But yeah, as you can see though, basically every game that I played with this deck was really weird. I definitely recommend trying it out. It's basically free ladder points. As far as this deck in the meta, I'm very confident that at some point Milotic will be a good pick for a tournament or be used in a stall deck or something like I just did. Other options for this deck are Farigiraf, which is how I originally had it built, because Farigiraf is kind of Dusknoir proof in a sense, where Mimikyu can always basically be knocked out with 1 Dusknoir. You need 2 Dusknoirs to knock out Farigiraf, but that just ends up being really clunky, so I didn't end up going with the Farigiraf build. And I do think Milotic only gets better with rotation. I know that that's quite far away, but when all the V-Stars are gone, I mean, almost all the decks are going to end up being Terra decks because all the Terra Pokemon are so strong. And now we also have Terra Orb and the Crystal card and just all these cards that synergize really well with the Terra Pokemon. So yeah, I definitely think it's worth trying out. It's pretty easy wins on the ladder right now, and it also has some future potential. I believe the 160 plus putting your opponent to sleep is really good. And I just want to thank everyone. Thank you so much for 1,000 subs. That is so cool. I never thought that I would even get 100 subscribers, so getting to 1,000 and actually being able to like monetize my channel and having people watch the videos, I don't know, it's just so cool. And you know, thank you for all the nice comments and everything. It's been really kind of surreal, so I greatly appreciate that. So yeah, like or dislike, comment, and subscribe. Take care and have a good one.